What is the key to winning? My entire adult life, I have studied other people, looked at other people who've performed at really high levels, the multi millionaires in life, the people who've made the biggest impact in the network marketing profession, the biggest impact in the personal development industry, the biggest impact in the world. What is the key to winning? Why is it that winners win and why do losers lose? And I'll tell you, it doesn't boil down to intelligence, I don't believe, because I've seen many people who have performed at the highest levels and they don't appear to be that smart. I've seen married people, I've seen single people, old people, young people, black, white, Asian, Latino, you name it. People from all walks of life, lots of education, no education, people who come from a background where they've struggled a lot. They got this amazing story about overcoming adversity. People who were born into really wealthy families and they've succeeded at a high level. So, there's no commonality. There's no common theme among, as far as their background, even their skill level. But one thing that I have found of all the people that I've interviewed, in fact, I used to run a company where we had over 150 of the top speakers and authors, people who've really performed at the highest levels. And so I've had the opportunity to interview a lot of them. And one of the questions that I always ask people is not how did you become successful, not what did you do necessarily. I don't, the how-tos are interesting, but I say all the time, if how-tos were enough, we'd all be rich, skinny, and happy. It's never the how-tos that matter, because I can take people in network marketing and people do different things and they still succeed. But here is the deal. The one thing that I've noticed that's common, if I ask them, what is it about you? What is it about you as a person that's made you succeed at the highest levels? The one common theme that I get all the time is, I just wanted to win. I just wanted it so bad. And so it really boils down to desire. You got to want success more than the other person. And, that's something that sometimes can be a little bit difficult to come to grips with because, in a lot of cases, in fact, early on in my network marketing career, I didn't feel all that motivated. I didn't feel like I had that much desire. I wanted to win big, but it wasn't like I just had to. And it took me a while to get to the point where I finally had to enough to where I made the decision to actually go after it. And so here's the deal. If you're listening to my words right now and you're thinking, well, man, I just don't know if I have that kind of desire to really, perform at the highest levels, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to propose to you that I do not believe that some people were born with a lot of desire and other people were not born with a lot of desire. It's not as if God said, you've got it and you don't. I believe that desire is something that you pull out. It's something that you harness. It's something that you figure out how to increase your desire. And I'll tell you, some of the things that I do to increase my desire, and that is to dream. It's to create a lot of goals for myself. And the key to creating desire is dreams. Dreams are the fuel that fire desire. And the thing is, if you're not in the habit of dreaming big, you may find it a little bit uncomfortable to dream big. It may seem out of your realm of possibilities. And so you've got to, I believe, make it a practice to continually create a lot of dreams for your life. And you want big things. One of the things on Instagram the other day, I just subscribed to this, luxury homes, this luxury lifestyle and exotic vacation, account on there. And I did it for the sole purpose of seeing really nice things. And when I see those really nice things, it tends to make me want to have them. And the simple fact of me wanting something like that raises my level of desire. And because I know dreams the fuel that fire desire, if I have more desire, I'm willing to do what it takes to go out and have them. And personally, if you goes back all the way to week one, I know I've talked about week one a lot, but if you go all the way back to your purpose in life, my purpose is my ultimate dream. I feel like if I live the core purpose of my life, I'm accomplishing my dream in life. And there's just so many aspects of that I want for my life. And I've created a huge bucket list. And one of the exercises that I'm going to have you go through here is creating your lifetime bucket list. And this is something I've consciously done since I was 24 years old. I'm 38 now. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I've checked off close to 100 things on my bucket list. Kilimanjaro, going to Bora Bora, going to Tahiti, paragliding, skydiving, highest bungee jump in the world, on and on and on. All of these things I've been able to check off. And when I look back at those, I look back and I think, wow, I have had an amazingly rich life. I feel more fulfilled because I've done those things. And it's evidence to me that I need to continue on the process. I've got to continue going after living this amazing life. And so creating a bucket list, what it does for you, creating your dream list, is the fact of you creating a lot of goals raises your level of desire. When your level of desire is raised, that's going to put the fire in your eye. It's going to cause you to go do things and break out of your comfort zone, where if you didn't have that same level of desire, you wouldn't break out of your comfort zone. And so in creating your bucket list, here's the thing. If you don't have a why that makes you cry, listen, I struggled with that for a lot of years, because it was like I can't think of something that makes me actually cry when I think about it. And John Maxwell, in one of his books, he talks about how, if you want little, if you don't have a lot of goals, you won't do much. You're not going to do much if you don't have a lot of goals. So I'm going to encourage you to create a lot of goals, a lot of different things in a lot of different categories. And so this is your homework. And I've done this with audiences. And in fact, I'll give you a little secret. When I go through this, one of the reasons why, if I'm training my organization, if I've got, a day to spend with them, I'll encourage them to create this bucket list, create this dream list. And what happens is, after they create the dream list, they come up with all these things that are very motivating. And then we talk about getting into action. And I give them a game plan for going out and, working and, paying the price, doing what's necessary. And what I find is people are way more likely to go take action if they have that bucket list, if they have that dream list first. And so I'll give you the different categories. I actually separate mine. I have an Excel spreadsheet on my computer. Just about every time I'm on a plane, which I'm on a plane a lot, I make a habit of pulling up my bucket list and reviewing it. And the fact that I review it pretty often, what does that do? It increases my desire. In my office here, I've got my vision board, and it's got, pictures of all these different things. It's got my yacht with the helicopter landing pad. It's got, cars and watches. It's got experiences. It's got private jet. It's a family walking along the beach. It's a dad with his daughter jumping into his arms. It's someone surfing. It's someone doing a bungee jump, and, that's fulfilling the need for adventure. I got lists of islands that I want to go see on the vision board. And so I would encourage you to take, number one, create this bucket list, and then get some magazines, get the Robb Report, get some travel magazines, and, get a big piece of, like a big cardboard, and put those things on there. So homework number one, create that vision board and look at it. Whenever you come into your office or wherever you're doing work, look at that. And the simple fact of having that as a reminder, it's going to cause you to do more. It's going to cause you to break out of your comfort zone. It's going to cause you to be more creative. It's going to cause you to be more motivated. And listen, your actions follow feelings. And so when you look at that vision board, it gives you a feeling of motivation, and it causes you to go out and take more action. And so here's my categories that I recommend that I have for me personally. Number one is travel. So create a category of travel. Where do you want to go? What do you want to go see? From a business standpoint, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do business-wise? What do you want to do in your company? Philanthropy, what do you want to give? How do you want to give back? What kind of, churches or things like that? How do you want to make an impact in the world? Material, what do you want to have? And listen, there's nothing wrong with you wanting a lot of material things. If you're willing to do unethical things to get those material things, I think there's something wrong with that. But listen, there's nothing wrong with you wanting a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Rolex watch. In fact, when I bought a Ferrari, what was meaningful more than the Ferrari itself was the person that I knew I had to become in order to have that Ferrari. It was an example of me making an impact in the lives of other people. So something that I'm passionate about is learning. So from an education and learning standpoint, what do you want to learn? What kind of adventure? Adventure is one of my categories. So what do you want to go do? Maybe you want to go, paragliding or bungee jumping. You want to go whitewater rafting. You want to go, go on safaris in Africa. You want to go do adventures in the desert. So there's all of these amazing things that you can do from an adventure standpoint. What do you want to do from a personal standpoint? Maybe a physical standpoint. You want to go run a marathon? Do you want to run a triathlon? Do you want to learn karate or something like that? From a spiritual standpoint, where do you want to be? In fact, that was, one of the things when I created my very first bucket list. One of the things was just from a personal standpoint, I wanted to feel like I was a master communicator. See, I felt very awkward in social settings. I could talk one-on-one with someone if I knew them okay, but if it was someone I didn't know, I was always judging myself. If it was a group of people, I was always, this voice in the back of my mind was always saying, man, why are you talking like this? They're judging you. And, I had that negative voice always coming up. I wanted to get rid of that negative voice. And then, I wanted to get rid of that negative voice on stage. I wanted to be a professional speaker. And so, I'll just give you some examples from a travel standpoint. Some of the things that I've been able to check off that have led to an amazing life. The Eiffel Tower in Paris, the pyramids in Egypt, seeing the Colosseum in Rome, going to Tahiti, going to Bora Bora, going to Hawaii, Australia, New Zealand. Took my mom to Machu Picchu for her 60th birthday because of network marketing. I was able to say, Mom, where in the world do you want to go? What's been your biggest dream? So she said Machu Picchu. Done. We spent 9 days traveling all across Peru, stayed in the most expensive hotels money can buy. And, Mom, of course, me and her had the time of our life. Maybe going to see the Greek islands, that was an incredible experience. I can remember being able to fly into Athens and see the Acropolis and the Parthenon, and then doing a cruise around the Greek islands, going to see the British Virgin Islands. Just the British Virgin Islands are so incredibly beautiful. There's a place called Jost Van Dyke, and there's this bar called the Soggy Dollar Bar. They call it the Soggy Dollar Bar because there's no dock. You have to anchor your boat and swim to shore, and so your money is all wet when you get there. And, just a super, super cool place. Maybe you want to do a Mediterranean cruise. Man, that was one of my highlight experiences. I had a bunch of leaders on my team. I took my mom, my grandma, had the time of my life going to see the island of Capri and Naples and Florence and Rome. Here's the deal. So many people get to go see all of these places. I've seen all of the ones I've mentioned. I've been there. It's been amazing. If I can see those places, you can go see those places. So from a business standpoint, what do you want to accomplish? Maybe you want to become a millionaire. You want to have $1 million in your bank account. I can't tell you how amazingly secure it feels to be able to log in and look in your bank account and see $1 million. Maybe you want to earn $100,000 a month. Maybe you want to, earn $1 million a year just in passive income on your investments outside of network marketing. Maybe you want to become a best-selling author, become a public speaker, build a downline of 100,000 people, or, my goal right now is to build an organization of over 1 million people. Definitely on our way there. I want to create generational wealth for my family. And so, have those business things down. And then from a material standpoint, what do you want to have? Maybe you want to have a Ferrari, a Bentley, a Lamborghini, a Rolls Royce. Maybe you want your own private island, a private plane, a private jet. One of mine is that 100-foot yacht with a helicopter, a dream home in Colorado, a dream home on the beach. So figure out what you want. And I'll tell you on my bucket list, the material thing is the smallest category. What excites me is not necessarily having all of the things. For me, it's more about the adventure. It's the things that I want to go do. It's also from an education standpoint. What do you want to learn? Maybe you want to be fluent in Spanish or French. You want to master speed reading. You want to get, certain degrees. Maybe you want to go back and get your college degree or an MBA. You want to get certified as a hypnotist. Get a, degree in psychology. Get your pilot's license. Learn to sail. What is it that you want to learn? And then from an adventure standpoint, what do you want to do? Maybe you want to paraglide in the Andes Mountains. I did that with my mom. Incredible experience. Learn how to surf. One of my crazy ones. I just want to go hop a freight train. I want to go hop a train one day. I don't know why. I'm just crazy, I guess. Skydiving, cage diving with the great whites. Did that in South Africa. A cruise down the Nile River. I'm telling you, you cruise down the Nile and it's like you went back in time 2,000 years. Maybe dirt bike across the Baja Peninsula. Go deep sea fishing. Climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Climb Mount Everest. Go kite surfing. Helicopter skiing. And there is just so many things to go out and do in this world. And you will notice, in fact, almost everyone that I have do this exercise, they have a challenge getting to 100. Now, I'm going to encourage you to keep going until you get to at least 100. Do not stop until you get to at least 100 bucket list items. And it's almost sad when you start making your list. Most people get to about 15 things and then it's like, well, I can't think of anything else. It's sad that people are so conditioned to limit themselves. So you got to open up your mind. And when you're creating your bucket list, put things on there. Even if they seem unrealistic, unreasonable, put them down. If it is a desire in your heart, it is a possibility. When I wrote my first bucket list, I said I wanted to be a best-selling author. And that was so foreign to me, so unachievable, so unreasonable, because I was the kid who barely got through school. I finished in the half of the class that made the top half possible. I was not the sharpest tool in the shed. In college, I dropped out right before I failed out. I was never a great student. So the fact that, I could become a best-selling author was just unthinkable. But you know what? What happens is you start to grow. And it may not have been even a year or two after that. I still didn't think, that still was kind of a far out there goal. But what happened is I just kept growing and growing and growing. And eventually I got to the point where I raised who I was as a person. I grew so much, and it finally got to the point where it was like, I feel uncomfortable not being a best-selling author. I have got to go make it happen because it's who I am. I deserve that. And so start that dream list. Start that bucket list. Do not go on. Don't do the next module until you get that dream list. Let me be your coach. Let me mentor you. Take my coaching. Do not move on until you create your bucket list. It is that important for your future. So here's what I want for you also. I want you to determine a crystal clear why that burns inside your gut. If there was a why that makes you cry, this would be it. And I'll tell you what mine is. Mine has everything to do with my children. This was everything even before I had children. I wanted to be able to have a world for my children with no limits. I wanted to be able to teach my children history, not just out of the history books like all the other kids learn, but in the places in the world where the history actually happened. See, that gets me excited. The other thing, this is why I must perform at the highest levels, because I personally believe that the greatest way if you want your children to go be great, the best way for them to go be great is for you to show them how to be great. Children learn from seeing, not from you telling them. See, it's no surprise. What happens is when kids are 6 years old, their parents are their heroes. But by age 16, their parents have gone from grown-ups to given-ups. And that's why people end up following in their footsteps of their parents. It's just they follow in their footsteps. And so You decide that you're going to be the inspiration for other people, that you're going to go live a great life, that you're going to live vicariously through yourself, not through other people anymore. You're going to live it through yourself. You're going to go see the world. You're going to experience it, because here's the thing. If it's possible for someone else, it is possible for you. You got to have that attitude, is if someone else deserves to be a millionaire, so do I. If someone else deserves to go be a best-selling author, so do I. If someone deserves to travel around the world, so do I. If someone deserves to send their kids to the best schools money can buy, so do I.